Women do not see violence the way men see violence. And women do not see violence the way men think women see violence. Like, yes, there are freaks out there who are turned on by it, but you should stay far away from these people. And of course, the guys that need to hear this the most won't listen to it. There's numerous situations where conflict comes up. Somebody's trying to squash your plans, whatever that is. Or, you know, a situation at work, someone's not pulling their weight. Or a situation with a roommate, or a situation with your neighbor, you know, about the fence, or a situation with some authority figure. How many people in here have read the book, Crucial Conversations? Amazing book dealing with these like uncomfortable conversations. Now, when these come up, most people tend to go to one of two ways of dealing with it. Choice number one, of just avoidance. You will just avoid it. Like the unpleasant situation with the roommate, avoid it. When they're in the house, you stay in your room until they leave. Then you go out and use the common area. Like it's just like this annoying thing hanging over your whole situation. Or somebody's like not pulling their weight on the team and you're just like, dude, this fucking person. So just avoid it, avoid. Or B, they'll go to violence, like silence or violence, where you just become angry and you start telling yourself a story about how you're a victim and they're treating you unfairly. When in many cases, it's often just like a misunderstanding. Always ask yourself in that situation, why would an otherwise reasonable person act like this? Now, a bigger thing to understand, though, is the scripts that we default to when faced with these kind of situations. One of the biggest scripts that you'll see out on 6th Street all the time is what we call the monkey dance. What's the monkey dance? Two drunk dudes get into some sort of like disagreement. And the monkey dance is a very structured set of steps, isn't it? What are the steps? What's step one? Nipple rubbing. Yes. I don't know what club you're going to. If you can give me a flyer perhaps to this club, I will attend. But no, so basically it'll start out with words being exchanged, puff up on the balls of their feet, puff their chests out, get in each other's face, then the aforementioned nipple rubbing. Yeah, it's a very regimented set of steps, and they'll get in each other's face. Now, at this point, they're hoping that they get separated, that the friends separate them, because at that point, they can say, look, I asserted my dominance in the situation, okay, but we got separated. Now they can kind of coexist in the space to a degree because they did that. If no one separates them, and no one backs down, if somebody backs down at that point, it's defused. If no one backs down, it'll continue to escalating until either a couple things happen. There's a chest poke, flip off of the hat, touch in the face, spit in the face, something like that. And then, of course, the looping overhand rights. Like that's every single time. That is not, the monkey dance is designed to prevent serious violence. They're not trying to kill each other. It's not antisocial murder. It's just a dominance exchange. Much in the same way like when, you know, bucks in mating season, they're not trying to put the antler into the side of the other bucks. That's just one example. When you get on one of these scripts, you have to have the ability to recognize when you're on a script and decide if you want to step off it. Because that monkey brain, it wants to win. And if you step off the script, there will very often be a deep-seated feeling of an unfinished business. And that emotional brain just wants to fucking win. It wants to get the last word in. Now, many young men in particular need to hear this because, again, it is not worth it for you to be fighting some dude on fucking 6th Street. There's no real good outcomes there. What's the good outcome? Like, I kicked this dude's ass. It was fucking awesome. Everyone saw me and swooned. The girl was like, my hero. Fell into your arms and you went off into the night and you won. Here's another thing. Women do not see violence the way men see violence. And women do not see violence the way men think women see violence. Like, yes, there are freaks out there who are turned on by it, but you should stay far away from these people. And of course, the guys that need to hear this the most won't listen to it. But, you know, I had a friend, his wife, like, was fucking like that, crazy. They go to Raiders games, she just talks shit in the stands, and start a fight, and he'd finish the fight, but he likes to fight. So they were like a match made in heaven. But again, you don't want to get in some crushing civil lawsuit. You don't want to get put in a wheelchair, put someone else in a wheelchair, go to jail. Like, it's just not worth it, man. Here's the thing, and this is even more fucked up, very often, a tactful apology. That will defuse the whole situation. Now, young men will often hear this, they're like, well, why should I apologize if the other person's the asshole? What does it cost you to say that? To say, hey, I'm sorry, man. What is I'm sorry? What is that? It's air, complicated airflow. It's noises coming out of your mouth. That's all it is. But again, young man will be like, I can't, no. Fuck no, dude. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Right? Maybe even like make a, comment as the guys, you want to get the last word in. So here's the thing. The more that you start to engage the human brain to actually win, the more that you will train the limbic brain that's the behavior that actually gets the real win. And the more you'll default to that in situations. Now, I had to learn how to defuse like violent, drunken situations very early. When I was younger, I was like a nihilistic fucking maniac. I had all these problems. My dad went to prison, this, that, the next thing. I was like, fuck this, fuck the world. And so I'd get into fights all the time. I would like start them and this, that, the next thing. But then I started doing this job, and that's not a good look. Like, how was your program? Oh, it was great. The instructor got in a fucking fight, and we were kicked out of the establishment multiple times. It's like, no, you need to learn how to, like, defuse these things, because I'm not there to trick or treat with dudes, so to speak. That's not what I'm there to do. I'm there to actually, like, make connections, make friends, have a good time. Now, I'm not trying to make other people have a bad time either. So I'm willing to do that tactical apology. There's a lot of things that go into this. You got to understand when people are trying to hook you. What's a hook? Most people who want to act out violently or aggressively towards you, and this could be in business setting too, a corporate beatdown. A lot of times you'll get managers just going around looking for small mistakes so they can act out and belittle an employee and like rage on them. Have a Christian Bale moment.
Think for one fucking second. The fuck are you doing? No, shut the fuck up, Bruce. Do I want? No! No!
They'll go around looking for like little errors so they can blow up and like just basically bully someone and humiliate them and be aggressive. So the desire to do the behavior comes first, then they find the justification for it. What are some examples of a hook that they'll throw hooks out? What are you fucking looking at? What are you looking at? I'm like looking at this one guy. They'll throw these hooks out. Now, one way to respond to a hook like that, like when people are trying to hook you, is simply answer them as though they're thoughtful questions. What are you looking at? Oh, just staring into space, I guess. Long day is kind of zoning out, you know what I mean? How are you doing? What are you trying to be funny? What is that? Are you trying to be smart? Oh, no, you just asked what I was looking at. I just said I was tired. Yep. And literally just respond to them as like in a measured tone, not scared, but not like aggressive either. Or why did you put that in the report? Yeah, I thought that was part of the parameters of the report. Again, if a person cannot continue to throw hooks out for very long until the people around will perceive them to be the asshole, and you're not responding to the hooks. And they could keep going and keep going and keep going, but if you don't respond to the hooks, they don't have a justification for the beating or whatever. So remember that. It's easy to see when somebody's trying to hook you. What's harder very often is when you're hooking other people. Okay? Maybe you're just a bit of an asshole, and your personality is a hook. Looking visibly different from everybody in the group in a social setting is a hook. If you look dramatic, wearing a uniform in this place can be a hook. Speaking like you're educated in some places could be a hook. So you have to know when you're throwing out hooks. Vulgar language, racist language, being cruelty, these things can all be hooks. Poor social intelligence in of itself can be a hook. So where are you throwing these things out? Start to look to kind of eradicate those from your life, unless, of course, you just like conflict, in which case, have at it, have fun.
A huge awareness of my voice and how to speak to people.
It teaches you how to do it, the technicalities behind it. And beyond that, you learn about storytelling and humor.
I want to know how the fuck to project myself. Jeff has actually given a language to something that I think everyone in the game has been trying to achieve for so long.